Hey guys, so I have a Mac Mini M4, this one here, and I also have a MacBook Air M4 in that sky blue color, by the way, guys. And I've said quite a few times on the channel that this is a brilliant combination. Having a powerful desktop computer at my desk for video editing and surfing the web, but also having a portable device, a very premium MacBook to actually take out and about and use for research, use for typing, making notes, and also, some media consumption as well. Having these two devices is a brilliant combination, but say I had to choose only one, what would that device be? Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video on the channel. So listen guys, I know it's not possible for a lot of you guys to have two Macs, and it may be a choice that you make just because you want to have all your files on one device, or maybe you don't have that budget, maybe you're a student, or maybe you just don't have that budget to purchase two Macs, and that's why I'm making this video. So if you guys are thinking to buy a Mac but you don't want to purchase more than one, you just want one Mac, which one would it be out of these two? Which one would I recommend out of these two devices? So guys, let's discuss it in this video. So guys, one reason to choose the Mac Mini M4 over the MacBook Air M4 is the built-in fan. As you can see, check it out down the bottom, there are some vents there for the fan to let the air out. And the reason why that built-in fan is so important, well, it does depend on the software you're using. If you're using software which is really well optimized for Mac, like Final Cut Pro or even DaVinci Resolve, very rarely are your fans actually going to kick in. So if you have a MacBook Air and you're using those type of softwares, you're going to be absolutely fine. But if you're using software which is not as well optimized for Mac, for example, I used to use Shotcut as my main video editing software, but for some reason when I use the blur effect in Shotcut, I find it easier to use in Shotcut, but for some reason when exporting the video, it does tax the CPU and the GPU a lot more using it in that software, and then the fans do kick in on the Mac Mini M4. So if I was using that effect on the MacBook Air, which I have tried in the past, the device does get extremely hot, and it does start to thermal throttle. So I would actually experience longer export times with the MacBook Air compared to the Mac Mini M4, just because it has that built-in fan there, and I am getting slightly faster times because the device is not thermal throttling. So the fan is really important, and it does depend on what sort of software you're using and how intense your workload is. If you are using a software such as Logic Pro, and if your projects are pretty light and they're not very intense, then you should have no problem with the MacBook Air M4. I don't think you will have any problem in terms of using it. But if your projects are more intense and they're more complex, then it may start to thermal throttle when you're throwing a lot at it. If you are using Blender and again your projects are very complex, then you're going to have some trouble with the MacBook Air, just because it might start to thermal throttle because you're pushing the CPU and the GPU very much so. So in that sense, my point is, if you're using the CPU and GPU at a very intense level, I would recommend the Mac Mini M4. That's one benefit this has over this. The MacBook Air, as we all know, most of us know anyway, it is a fanless design, and so you are not gonna get those fans kicking in to cool the device down. You don't have anything to cool the device down, just the actual chassis itself, how well that sort of conducts the electricity out of the device. That's all you have. Whereas with the Mac Mini M4, you do have the active cooling system, you have the fan present in there, and for the most part my Mac Mini M4 does stay really cool, even when video editing, even when exporting videos, and even when using multiple layers of video, using effects, fusion titles and things like that. So in that sense, the Mac Mini M4, it has a real big benefit over the MacBook Air. As I mentioned, it does depend on how intense your projects are, what software you're using, and to what extent you're using that software, how much you're making use of the CPU and GPU. But that's just one thing to keep in mind. If your workload isn't intensive, then you might be absolutely fine with the MacBook Air, but I would just err on the side of caution. And if you want to pursue more intense workloads in the future, if you actually want that room to kind of improve your skill set and work on more complex things in the future, then the Mac Mini in that sense does give you a bit more future proofing. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Another benefit of using this Mac Mini instead of a MacBook Air is that it creates a stable working environment. For example, if you look at my desk, I have my monitor, I have my speakers, I have an external SSD lying there somewhere, and I have my keyboard and mouse in one environment. And if you use something like a dock or something like that, then you've got just one place where everything's attached. You don't have to worry about if you're moving your Mac Mini about, because you're probably not moving your Mac Mini about. Let's put it that way. I know a lot of YouTubers have tried taking their Mac Mini out and about with an external monitor, with a portable monitor, and even using, the hotel room TV screen to actually plug in their Mac Mini to and work from. But let's be practical. I don't think most of us are doing that, and it looks cool and everything like that, but I don't think it's the most practical thing to do. So in that sense, I would say the Mac Mini just creates that stable working environment where you have your peripherals attached to it, which you can customize, by the way, and choose whichever ones you want, which can be fun, and also allows you to use the ones you want to use, which improves your sort of experience using your Mac Mini. But also, it's just nice not having to plug out things and plug things in when you're docking up. Say if you're docking up your MacBook, you'd have to plug in your cables, and then when you want to go out and about, you'd have to pull them out again, which is just more hassle, really. So that's what I like about the Mac Mini. No need to take any plugs out or plug anything in. Everything just stays plugged in. Your peripherals stay attached, your speakers stay attached, and it's just less hassle. So that's one big benefit of having the Mac Mini M4. So I think that's quite enough of praising the Mac Mini M4. Let's come to the MacBook Air M4 now. And one big benefit of having the MacBook Air M4 is that it's just so portable. It's so compact, it's so thin, and extremely light as well. I can hold it in one hand, no problems whatsoever. And it's just so sleek as well. It's just so nice to actually hold, and a really premium device to use. So yeah, it's really compact. It's extremely portable. You can take it out and about with you. I've actually, developed a liking for taking it out and about and taking it to cafes and things like that. And so I quite enjoy doing that. It's just so premium, so easy to pop in a bag and take with you somewhere. Yeah, you don't really get that with the Mac Mini, although people try and prove that it is portable and you can take an external portable monitor with you out and about. But for me, still, the MacBook Air definitely wins in this category of being portable. Yeah, it's just one of the most portable laptops you can pick, especially the 13-inch version. If you go for the 15-inch, you might struggle with a few different bags, but the 13-inch model is one of the most portable devices, and I would say it's on par with the iPad, just how portable it truly is. The MacBook Air M4 is just a whole lot more portable than the Mac Mini M4, and anyone telling you otherwise is just lying to you. So guys, another benefit of the MacBook Air over the Mac Mini M4 is that it's an all-in-one system. And by that, what I mean is you get everything included in it. So unlike the Mac Mini M4, you don't need to purchase a monitor, you don't need to purchase a keyboard, a mouse separately, you don't need to purchase speakers separately. Everything is inside this device, and I know you get a speaker in the Mac Mini, but it's not a very good one. And if you compare this with the MacBook Air M4, the speakers in here are much better. So that's one big benefit of having the MacBook Air. It's an all-in-one system. Everything you get included, everything that you need to start using it out of the box. And so for people who don't want to necessarily purchase in a keyboard, a mouse, a monitor, you don't have to. When you have them, if you purchase the MacBook Air, you've got everything you need in this one device. So that's one thing. And for those people who say that the Mac Mini is actually a lot cheaper than the MacBook Air, it is cheaper. But even at the cheapest price, you're going to pick it up for $500 at the moment from Micro Center. Say if you do pick up that model, you can also pick up the MacBook Air M4 for $800. So even at the cheapest price you can find currently on the market, there's still only a $300 difference between the two devices. And for that extra $300, you're getting, as I mentioned, the mouse, the trackpad, the keyboard, the monitor. You're getting the speakers included in a really compact and sleek design as well. So you don't need to purchase anything else if you don't want to. And so that's one really big benefit of purchasing this MacBook Air M4. $300 more, and you can get everything all in one system, which you don't have to customize if you don't want to. You can start using straight away out of the box, and you don't have to faff around, or you don't have the hassle of purchasing other devices to actually complement the Mac Mini M4. So it's all good. The MacBook Air is a really, really convenient device to use, just because everything's included. Now, out of both of these devices, which one would I choose if I had to choose only one of these devices to actually use on a daily basis? And it would be the MacBook Air M4. And the reason why it is because it's a two-in-one system. It can be a desktop computer if you pop it in one of those human-centric laptop stands. You can buy other ones. It's not a sponsored video. If you pop it in one of those, it can be your desktop computer, and it can also be your portable computer. Whereas a Mac Mini M4 can only really be, if we're being practical about things, it can only really be your desktop computer. So for that reason, the MacBook Air M4 would be my choice if I was to just choose one of these devices. You also don't have to transfer your files over to different devices if you have just one device. If this is your desktop computer and also your portable machine, everything's going to be on one device, and you don't have the hassle of dragging things back and forth in order to obviously do your work. Everything is going to be on your device, if not an external SSD, which you're going to have anyway. So in my opinion, it makes a lot of sense having the MacBook Air as your all-in-one device, or even a MacBook Pro as your all-in-one device, just because you can do everything on it. But those points are still valid as to the benefits of a Mac Mini M4. So if you can have both devices, I do have both devices, and I'm very grateful to have both devices. But if you had to just have one, I would recommend a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. But if you can have both, I would recommend the Mac Mini M4 or even a Mac Studio, and some sort of portable machine like the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro. So that's the way I would do things. But like I mentioned, this video is all about if I could only choose one device, it would be this one here, the MacBook Air M4, as my daily device, as my all-in-one machine. It would be this one. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, drop it a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. What do you have? Do you have a desktop machine? Do you have a portable machine? Do you have a Mac Studio? What do you have? I mean, I'm just really interested to hear from you in the comments below. So let me know, and I hope you found this video helpful. And yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'd really appreciate that. See you in the next one, guys. Take care. Bye.